What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Lane. As always, I'm your host, Rebel and Notorious. Join me once again today, Shaun.
Hello.
And Melina.
What is up, buddies?
I gotta say, I'm proud that you've kept this on for this long.
Yeah.
You've kept up the energy.
Well, now I have to.
Yeah.
You know.
You said you were going to do it, so you forced yourself to commit to the bit.
Yeah.
I've committed to the bit.
Yep.
I'm just surprised you have that much energy every time.
Fake it till you make it, you know?
Ah.
I am on the last drops of
I am on the
fucking-
line.
So, today, it's just another episode where we're just going to talk about what we've been up to recently, what we've been consuming since, we're all connoisseurs of media.
Yeah, it's good that you
Connoisseurs.
mentioned media and consuming, not consuming. As in, this morning
I have been ingesting.
We can't do that. Shaun is here.
Yeah, exactly. What am I gonna say?
Tell us about the last piece of toast you ate.
Oh, it was a delicious piece.
The crispness was just
The
right.
butter was just perfect.
The temperature.
I'm not turning this into a toast cast.
No.
Oh, can we please do a toast cast?
I don't think we have the time
No.
for a toast cast.
Aww.
Anyway, so who wants to start?
Have you guys enjoyed Brat Summer? Because I sure did.
Jesus, please explain to me.
Yeah, please.
So here's my perspective. I went on the internet one morning, and suddenly everyone was talking about Brat Summer, so demure, so mindful. I felt like I had missed an episode of the internet. I had no fucking idea what was going on, and I just sort of went along with it.
They're like, yeah, Brat Summer, am I right?
I still don't
ladies?
know. I still don't understand.
I'd like to give my little bit of context here. My little enclave of the internet has completely protected me from whatever the hell this is until like a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
When we first mentioned it in a call.
I mean, the Very Mindful is separate from Brat Summer.
You see that? Okay, that
it
thing
came across my
That thing
timeline.
specifically, I'd heard about it a little bit, but I didn't know what the fuck it was until that call that like one of us first mentioned it. I'd heard of Brat Summer, but I didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, that's fair. Both of those things came across my For You page at the exact same time on the same day, so...
So basic white girl explain.
Yes, you're welcome. So Charlie XC... Excuse
Wow,
me,
dude,
I'm
don't
having
just
my
insult
white
her
girl
right
moment, and you're really interrupting.
Are you done chattering?
She hasn't even
Done
started.
burping. So Charlie XCX, a singer.
Yes.
Do we know her?
I think I do.
I've heard the name, but I've maybe heard a song, but I couldn't
Yeah,
I have a vague
I'm
visualization.
So fancy.
Oh,
song.
I fucking hate
was
that
her.
song.
Yeah, most people do. I Don't Care. I love it. She
Oh,
was main
again,
singer on
I hate that song too.
Sure. She, has been out of the spotlight for a bit and then came back with her album Brat,
Okay.
which then inspired Brat Summer, and it's very much just a beautiful album. I want to say it's really good.
Damn,
I'm sure
she
I'm
can
not
just,
gonna like it.
She
No
can just
offense.
release an album and then claim an entire season? Holy shit.
Yes. Only if your marketing's strong enough.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is it possible to
Have you
learn
seen
this
the
power?
album cover?
No.
That shit's simple as fuck. I don't know how it
I
Is it
love
just the
it.
word brat?
it's just the word brat on a green background.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
I was expecting brat.
She managed to claim a whole season with that.
No, you
I'm
haven't
kind of-
heard it.
I'm kind of impressed.
Yes. And it's very much like I would say, 90s, 2000s club beat type of album.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking hate it then.
But
Damn, I was gonna
it's-
say I kind of like that.
It's about like very much like girlhood and how like one of the songs it's confusing to be a girl.
I totally relate.
Yeah.
Like-
Many of the songs are just about her doing coke in clubs as well.
Girlhood.
Oh, I totally
Yeah.
can relate.
Girlhood in the late 90s, early
And
2000s.
I think it really took off because the song "Girl" so confusing, which is so confusing sometimes to be a girl. She talks about a friend she has, which is Lord, the singer.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
who
of
looks
course.
a lot like her, which she sings about. And then I want to say a week and a half after the album dropped, Lord was like, "I'm hopping in. We're doing a remix."
Okay.
I'm
Is
here
this
now.
Lord Yeah? No,
Yeah,
that's...
No,
You haven't seen South Park, have you?
no.
Okay.
Is it the Lord we're thinking? Hold on.
Because I know there's two lords, so...
There's two lords?
Yes.
Wow.
I only
Yeah.
know one Lord, and it's yeah.
We have Lord. This is the Lord that sang Royals.
Yeah, this is Lord. That's that Lord.
Yeah, that's
That Lord.
Lord Yeah.
This Lord.
Yeah, that Lord.
Yeah.
That Lord.
Yeah, the one that Randy Marsh dressed up
Yeah.
as in South Park and toured as. He
Yeah.
was Lord.
Yeah,
I
he
think.
was Lord 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
yes, I'm
Get aged.
very much aware. I also know that the Console Wars episodes were 10 years ago.
Oh,
Have fun
Jesus
with that.
Christ.
There we go. Get aged too.
So yeah, the album, you know, a lot of speculation what it's about because it's very true to her life. Some songs rumored to be about like Taylor Swift, so that adds a whole new layer. So, you know, Sympathy is just a nice, great song, rumored to be about Taylor Swift.
Okay.
which I
Damn
don't know.
white girl pop
I
politics.
Yeah.
love how if you don't follow something,
For a minute.
it's like something that complex just becomes boiled down to one singular meme.
Mm-hmm.
Our society's fucking crazy like
Absolutely.
that, honestly.
Welcome to all these decades of the internet culminating in this.
Because
Yeah.
we got called like a symbolic generation, but we're far beyond that. We're a mimetic generation.
Oh,
Absolutely, yeah.
Memes are so devoid of context to people, yet somehow
Yeah.
we understand
They're
them
their
still.
own language at this point.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
But sorry,
Yeah,
continue.
and so, you know, the songs are still going popular, and then Billie Eilish drops on a remix
I knew it!
for the song Guess, which is very, I would say, a very sexual song, which I like.
is it
seeing more of
is it
her.
like lunch?
No, it's just the main line
think-
is like, I want you to guess the color
You-
of my
you don't know.
underwear. I do. Don't worry. But yeah, the
I'm
main.
just smiling like a dumbass right now while they're talking.
So Billie Eilish has a song called Lunch, and it's about eating girls out.
I figured.
Yes. And
Good for
she
her.
just won't shut up about it. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, the song Guess is very, you know, it's about
Mm-hmm.
guessing the color of someone's underwear. It's like, ooh, I have a secret that you will never know. And it's a very funky song.
Okay. Cool.
And so, like, the whole mindset of this album is very much, I don't care about you, this is me.
Okay.
This is my story, I'm just gonna talk about me.
Right.
And that kind of is the brat
Slay.
mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of got turned into, this summer, we care about us. It's
Okay.
about us. We're having our brat summer. Just not gonna give a fuck about anyone else. And it's about me.
Did Big T Swift also release a re-release of one of her albums?
Oh, many times.
to try and knock it
No.
off the charts.
Did you
No.
just say Big T Swift?
Big T Swift.
Big T Swizzle. If you want to sound
To
a little
swoozle.
older. Like, I'd love to go into Taylor Swift as well, but I won't do that to
Yeah.
you guys.
I do you know the context of the question I just asked?
What do you think?
So basically,
Yeah.
every time another female artist has released like an album and it's like climbed the charts really heavily and been about to threaten one of Taylor Swift's albums, she'll do a re-release,
Yeah.
and it's like so
It's nasty.
calculated and nasty. Like it's so very obvious.
What is she,
Yeah.
the Disney company?
Almost.
Released from the Taylor
No,
Swift
it's
vault?
just like, that's legit what she does. She releases things from the vault.
She'll either do a Taylor's version or
I mean, that's a whole different
yeah,
thing.
I know,
Yeah.
but however, it's part of it. She'll either do the Taylor's version or she'll do like another vinyl release of the current album.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
like
with
what
like one extra song.
20
Oh, I don't
versions
follow
of
it.
the
It's
Dead Poet or whatever the fuck her album's called. It's some bullshit.
Okay.
It's not as deep as
Poets
she.
Department.
It's not as deep as she thinks it is. It's so
It's a
dumb.
good album.
I was wondering what the Taylor's version thing meant because
It's-
I've seen
so
that on
that's
like
to
Disney
do
Plus.
with
Yeah,
that. Hold on, I'm gonna explain this way more succinctly. It's to do with old contract negotiations. She technically doesn't own those songs, or at least not the masters, and so she's re-recording her old albums in order to own those versions and those masters.
That makes sense. I get it now.
It's a big fuck you.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. So I think is it just Reputation she's got left to do?
Yeah. No, and her first album.
Oh,
her
okay.
debut album.
I thought she had done that one already, but
No, we're just waiting on 2 albums.
Okay.
I hate that I know all of that.
I'm so proud of you.
It's the music
Yeah.
industry's part of my
Yeah.
knowledge
You get
base.
some
So
of that.
yeah,
But it was just such a great summer for music because we even had Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet come out.
She just came out of nowhere for me. Like I had no idea who
For
she
a lot
was.
of people, she did.
And then-
I've heard the
Suddenly-
name, but
Do you know the song Espresso? That's that me espresso. Oh my god.
Here's the funny thing: I know who she is. I genuinely haven't heard one of her songs,
Like Espresso, it was like the Despacito of this summer.
but I hadn't heard it.
You've probably on radio when you're walking through any store.
I can't say I have.
Well, if you have time after this,
Okay.
I'll subject you
She
to
is
it.
someone along with Chapel Roan that I've been like, maybe I'll give a listen to.
Chapel Roan. I want to talk about because she is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She's just kind of coming up now. She's like an artist from the Midwest, very queer, very just open to I'm doing whatever.
Yep.
And she like got a hint of fame. A few of her songs were mega
Yep.
viral, and already she's like, "Don't fucking stalk me.
Yep.
This is ridiculous."
Oh, hold on. I think I've seen some. Is she the one that's like doesn't want to win a Grammy or something right now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know.
The
her.
red hair.
Yeah.
And I love that for her.
Yeah, like I saw that literally just today. I saw like a part of that just on like Reddit, and I was like, you know what, go you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because if I've seen some interviews of hers, because she's like generally a very likable and down to earth person, and she was like, "Yeah, I always said I would stop making music the second my family was like being stalked or harassed,
Yeah.
and that's already fucking happened."
Yeah,
And she has like one recent album.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
Like the quote I saw was she was describing that Fame's like an abusive like ex.
Absolutely.
That like the name calling, the harassing, the
Yeah.
stalking, like that, and that's like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And you've only just gotten
Yeah.
here. That's I can see you wanting to back out now.
The one
I would.
that really pissed me off was like it was part of that, and she was like, "Don't come up to me and start using my real name," and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way do you research an artist to the point of like you feel like you can go up and not call them the stage name that
Yeah.
everyone knows them
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
You're not their friend.
No, exactly. Because from what I know, like she tried for a very long time to make industry, had a record deal at some point, fell through, all that, and she used to go under her actual name.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a big secret what her
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
name
No,
is.
but-
But come on.
The fact
Yeah,
that she's
it's-
using a stage name now.
Yeah.
Kind of tells you that she'd like to be known as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't really understand celebrity culture where like I have to take a picture of everything. Oh my
Uh-huh.
god. I'm very much a don't meet your heroes. I would probably avoid them if I saw them.
Yeah.
And if I do happen to stand behind someone in line that I know and I like their stuff, I'm more likely to be like, "Hey, I really like doing this movie. Hey, I really like your music."
Yeah. Like, don't try and be weirdly chummy with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, they're not your friend.
No.
And that's, we need, as our current generation, as close as we may think we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, the parasocialness of it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sabrina Carpenter, short and sweet, a new album, really fun. Oh my god, so sexual. Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I've seen her a lot, and
She's teeny.
that's not where I was going, but okay.
Is she tiny?
She's 4'11".
Oh, wow, I didn't realize she was that short.
No, yeah.
Wow.
What were you gonna say?
Never mind.
Short skirts
No.
and yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
She looks nice. It's a nice way of putting it.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah. But I like that we've had a summer of just such nice girl bops, and then Katy Perry fucked it up, but we're not going to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I've heard Katy Perry was trying to make a comeback, and then everyone unanimously kind of went, nah.
Yeah, she released a song called Woman's World,
Yeah.
and it just talks about how sexy and confident women are.
Cool.
Which is like, woo!
Yeah.
You missed the
Well
mark,
done.
missed the mark
Yeah.
a little.
That was like popular like 10 years ago.
Produced with Dr. Luke, who we know from Kesha's rape trial.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing I had seen about it.
Go away.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been, listening to more music. I have a long commute again, so I've been enjoying listening to my music.
Nice.
Woo.
Your
Brat
fucked
Summer.
up way of listening to music.
Shut up.
We haven't talked about it on this show. I think we talked about it a long time ago on NAB.
Yeah.
It was actually our first episode. Jesus.
I think so.
Oh my god, yeah.
Melina likes songs on Spotify, goes into her liked songs playlist and just starts at the top and lets it play.
Yeah.
That's an absolutely
And then
deranged way of listening to music to me.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm with him on this. That's psychopathic.
Yeah.
You barely listen to music.
I know, but I know this is fucking wrong.
I don't know.
It just doesn't give any like variance to what you're listening
Like
to.
at the very least,
Correct.
shuffle or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh no, that'd be chaos.
No, that's the point. It's like you wanna hear all the songs that you know you like.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what order they're
Like
in.
I can't.
No, it don't.
I mean, my way of listening to music is weird, but I don't want to. I'm not going into that like right now. I
I mean, you mainly just listen to like video game soundtracks.
Yeah,
They'll do
but
that on,
like the
YouTube
thing
and
is, I
stuff.
don't like use Spotify or something. Like what happens with me is that like a video game soundtrack will find its way into my head just like randomly if I've heard it, and then I'll go into like listening to that, and that'll probably be stuck with me for like a good few weeks.
Yeah.
Until I find like something else that like either snakes into its head again, or snakes into my head again, or like something just from that I end up like clicking on just out of curiosity. But the thing is, I don't use like Spotify or anything to like listen to that. I'll listen to like YouTube and stuff. I feel very alien when I do that and I listen to music.
No, that's fine. I only use Spotify because I'm not the one paying for it.
Ah, okay, that's
I'm on a family plan, so
the only time I've used Spotify at this point is for like some audiobook stuff or like audio story stuff. It's been Doctor Who related.
of
So,
course
you know.
it has.
I don't know. I just started doing this at some point, and I just never stopped.
Wow.
And now it's just like,
You're
this is
stuck
how I
there
do
now.
it.
I either listen to albums start to finish, or I have a playlist that's like almost 2,000 songs.
You see, I don't do playlists.
And I
I
just
just
shuffle.
have my like songs.
So I have that playlist where like if I like a song enough, it'll go in the playlist.
Oh,
And
yeah,
if it's like a recent obsession song, like that's the one I'll start with. So I'll search for that,
Yeah.
press play, shuffle, don't care what comes on after. And if I'm not feeling the vibe, skip.
Yeah, exactly.
Skip until you
I
find the
don't
vibe.
like-
See, I understand
the
that.
skipping.
The thing for me, sorry, I don't know if I was just taking.
Go
something.
ahead.
Okay. Just still going off of what you're saying, you listen to albums like stuff. For some reason, I can't do that. I can't listen to albums like from start to finish. I feel like if I'm ever in the vicinity of like an album or whatever, I'll listen to one song that like particularly strikes me, but then every other song like around that feels like makes me just want to listen to that song again. Which is why I can't listen to albums, which makes me feel very weird when it comes to music, because it feels like so many people put so much like emphasis on albums, like as an sort of an outsider looking in.
Yeah.
But like I don't get it. Unless it's like an album that tells like a specific story, then I can kind of understand.
Yeah. There certainly are albums like that, and I've got
Yeah.
a few of them in my library.
Yeah, like if it's like a storytelling sort of thing, I get that, but
They're called concept albums.
yeah, exactly. I'm thinking of like Pink Floyd for some reason, but
Yeah, that's probably the most famous example of a
Yeah.
concept album. And not gonna say that. I'll just annoy all the Pink Floyd fans.
I invoke those words very carefully.
Yeah. No, I can sort of understand it. There's not like a huge amount of albums I can listen to start to finish on like a regular basis. It's usually like if an artist brings a new one out, then I'll sit down and it's like, okay, new album, first song, play through, and then like once I've done that, there's probably like a couple of songs that stand out, and I'll put those in the playlist, listen to those, and I might go back to the album later, and then another couple of songs will stand out. Eventually, probably the full album or most of it will end up in the playlist.
Yeah.
And those will just end up in regular rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's like I don't follow specific artists like at all.
Oh no, yeah.
See, being in the scene, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of followed artists, especially when you were like 13, 14.
You see,
You had loyalty.
see, I feel like I tried back then, but like there was no artist that really like got me, unless you want to count like, I don't know, in that age, that sort of time frame, I guess. I don't know, Toby Fox, but that links back to OSTs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's another soundtrack thing. So
I do have OST playlists, and I listen to those occasionally.
like one of the only things I have on Spotify is the Undertale soundtrack, because that's just so fucking good.
Well, I just kind of look around, internet wise. People are saying, "Oh, this album was good. Oh, this artist just came out." Sometimes I'll download it and I listen to it on the go. I download the songs. I like the songs that I enjoy, and then I never go back to the album.
Wow.
Yeah, and so there's like sometimes I'm talking with friends or something about, oh yeah, this album, this is my favorite song. I've never, I've heard it once and I didn't like it, so I don't know anything.
My music taste is like ever expanding, especially with Spotify now, because Spotify will like recommend you artists off the back of whatever artist you're listening to type thing. And like I found the most obscure Japanese rock bands, and I'm like, yep, fuck it, love the sound of them.
Hell yeah, give me more.
Like I just found one recently called Airflip, And yeah, it's like a kind of pop punky vibe, and I'm like, love it.
Sign me up.
Yep, sign me up.
yeah.
Listen to one of their whole albums. I was like, yep, fuck with that, into the playlist. But yeah, no, I'm always kind of on the search for like new music or new artists. I obviously love the stuff I love, but like I like seeking out new music.
I'd love to seek out new music. It's just for me, I never know what's going to hit me at the current moment in time, which makes it feels like me searching out new music kind of impossible.
I think I just have like a very, as much as I love all kinds of music, I have a very codified music taste for sure.
I think I'm figuring that out now, like just in terms of like what genres I tend to like, because I think it's the way I listen to music when I'm like actually sitting down and just wanting to do that is I'll build a story in my head, and the story will dictate what the kind of music I want to listen to. But like sometimes it's frustrating because I have a specific feeling in my head on where I want this imaginary story to go, but like I can't think of the right song to personify it. Which is really frustrating. But when I get it right, it is amazing. In my own head, and
I do get it.
And to go off of that, I feel like I found like a trend where like what I usually gravitate towards is more like adrenaline based sort of stuff. Like usually like techno has been like something, or like like the cyberpunk soundtrack really got to me because of that sort of stuff, and like Undertale soundtrack as well has just more like upbeat sort of stuff. Most of the time I do like sort of more depressing stuff occasionally, but I try not to go in there because that's just gonna sound sad. I'm already depressed enough sometimes. I don't need anything else adding on to that. I'm trying to escape here. But like that's sort of what dictates how I listen to music, and it feels very unique to my own like mindset.
Because I do have a playlist that I just call writing. It's like if I'm working on any writing project, just kind of more whimsical-y sounds. Usually not in English because that's just too much. Because I just can't. Because then your brain is like, but I'm hearing these words and I'm writing others, and no.
See, I've studied and written with so much like actual music like on that I can zone that part out. But I don't know if it's a skill that I've taught myself so much as like just something that I do. And I don't know if Manuel maybe does this as a musician, but like I call it walking around the mix, where I'll listen to a song, and if I'm intensely paying attention to it, I'll start singling out different parts. So sometimes you're listening to the vocals, which I say is like probably the thing that draws most people's attention, because it's the thing that draws all the music together. But like sometimes I'll just start listening to the drums, or I'll listen to the bass or the guitar or some other instrument that's in there, and I'll focus solely on that, and I'm not taking anything else. And sometimes I'm so focused on like a song that I'm like, okay, I think this drum beat was in here, that I'm not listening to the song. I'm just like
oh man, this actually reminds me of something. So sort of recently I've figured out, because while I'm listening to some songs, sometimes I'll listen to remixes of that song, because like it's a song that's stuck in my head, but I'm like, I want something different, but that's still kind of the same. So, and recently, one of the songs that has been like that for me has been, to go with the cyberpunk soundtrack again, the Rebel Path, which is Johnny Silverhand's theme in the game, and that's a really good fucking like theme. I love it so much. But like, I listened to like a remix of it recently, and I had this idea where like I listened to one part of the normal song, just like whatever mix was on YouTube, and then I sort of like want to like edit in the remix at a certain point and like get my own sort of, not personal mix, but just a sort of like version of it. And it got to the point where like, and this is when I was recently wanting to like try out more like video editing stuff, because I downloaded a DaVinci Resolve recently.
Nice.
Just to try that out, and I'm too scared to use Pirate Adobe still, so I'm so sorry.
Don't say that on the podcast.
Well, I'm saying sorry because I know, but you can bleep that out if you want. But like, I downloaded that, and I just got the idea of, hey, I'm listening to this a lot, and I kind of want to mix it to know what it feels like, to listen to what it sounds like to mix in this part with this part. And so I tried it a little bit, and I gotta get used to it. I gotta like actually try it more, but I'm getting some pieces out of it, which is nice.
Music mixing is hard.
Oh yeah, big
especially with like fully mastered songs.
Yeah, stuff that's already been made by someone else, and I'm just switching around. But yeah, that's something interesting, I guess, that I'm doing. I completely forgot about it until just this conversation, so I'm bringing it up now just to get it out there.
I guess while we're on the subject of music, something that I've recently listened to is, I don't know if you guys know this, but Linkin Park have come back.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Did they have a new front?
They have a new singer, a woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Which comes with the almost, I want to say, expected criticism.
It's
and-
The backlash.
it had some controversy.
Yeah.
I mean, immediately it was always going to be a
Yeah.
controversial thing.
Women.
Mainly down to them just coming back in general. Because
okay.
Chester Bennington committed suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I
remember.
And
forgot.
he is a massive shoes to fill.
Oh, absolutely.
Huge. And this is the point where, like, I knew they were coming back. They announced it in like quite far, not far, like long in advance, but enough in advance that I was like, okay, I'm on board with the idea. It's also been like, what, 7 years or something
been a
like
while,
that. It's been a
yeah.
while.
Oh my god. It makes
Yeah.
me feel so old.
And for me, I was like, song came out, they had announced the new singer, and I was like, no, I need a bit more time to process before I sit down and listen to it, because Chester Bennington's death was a big impact for me.
Absolutely.
Linkin Park, huge part of my life.
Yeah,
in
that sounds about
general.
right. Like, Linkin Park was huge at one point.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, okay, I need some time. And so I was walking home from work like last week, and I was like, okay, fuck it, put it on.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, okay, this is Linkin Park for sure. But it starts with Mike Shinoda, the other vocalist, the rapper guy, doing a bit, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I see the structure they're going for. This would be, it would open with Mike, and then you would come to the part where it swells and Chester comes in. And obviously the new singer comes in, and I stopped dead in my track. I had goosebumps. It was just electric.
That's what you
Where
want.
I was like, fuck. They did it. They nailed it. She isn't Chester, but she manages to channel the essence of Linkin Park that, like, draws you in, makes you feel the way that made you feel. And there's sometimes where she does something with her voice where I'm like, that's insane. Like, that's something, I don't want to compare it to Chester because she's not, but like sometimes she does something that I'm like, only he could have done something like that. Now, of course, it's been controversial because one, I get it, because it's big shoes to fill. Why come back? I understand why they did come back though, because Linkin Park have always been a constantly evolving band.
Yeah.
Chester Bennington wasn't the original singer in the first place, and I don't want to say that I think he would want them to keep going.
Yeah.
Because I don't know him. I never knew him.
Yeah, you can't really speak for him.
No.
Yeah.
But I think it would be unfair to say that the band can't continue on, or that they need to restart under a completely new name. Because Linkin Park was a titanic thing that you would have to rebuild from nothing.
I feel like there's a level of, I'm not sure if disrespect is the right word, but that's the one I feel like is closest to like the other band members.
Yeah.
That like, in assuming that Linkin Park cannot continue without him specifically.
Yeah, like, sure, he was a massive essence to the band and what they were about.
Disservice, that's the word I was actually looking for.
But I don't think that the new singer Emily would do any disservice to that legacy. One, that still all exists. You can go listen to that.
Yeah, exactly. They're not being erased from history.
Yeah. And she has her own story and messages that she wants to convey and tell. And, like, that's another part of the controversy that came up, was that people, like, immediately started looking into her, as they do.
Of course.
As people do.
And one of the first things that came out was that she had been at one early hearing of Danny Masterson.
I read about that. People immediately were like, you support rapists and all that. And
she eventually posted a message and was like, hey, I got asked to go to a trial for a friend. I had no idea what was going on. I very quickly realised I should not have done that. I immediately cut all contact. I want nothing to do with them. I do not support that. And I was like, the fact you're even having to do that is insane.
It's kind of fucked.
Yeah. And then people are like, oh, she's also a Scientologist, but she's not really, like, been associated with Scientology for the past, like, 10 years. She was born into it.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole different context.
Yeah.
Because at first that made me go a bit. But then I was like, oh, she was born into it. She's kind of distanced herself from it. I was like, so she's probably.
The first thing you think of when you think, like, well-known like celebrity and Scientology, or think of like the Tom Cruise or like the John Travoltas, where they're fucking crazy.
Yes, they bought in hard.
Yeah, they're full-on believers. But if she was born into it, that's not her fault.
That's not her fault. No,
It's a completely different context.
So I'm looking forward to the new album for sure.
I actually want to check it out now.
Yeah, Emptiness Machine is the name of the new song. Very good. And it's left me wanting more. So that's the best thing.
That's what you want.
Yeah. So I look. That's other than Airflip. That's kind of like the only new music thing I have worth talking about. So I don't know if we want where we want to go from here.
So
if you have more to talk about.
No, this is an epiphany I had.
Okay.
Like I think last week, Danny Matterson, who played Fez on that 70s show.
Yeah.
And you guys know Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes.
The older brother.
Oh boy.
What was his name again? I forgot.
The guy that looked like Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know his name, but I know the guy you're talking about.
They're brothers.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus. Francis, that's the character's name.
Francis! Okay, yeah.
I always thought they looked similar. But I never put two and two together until I was looking up some casts, because I thought the guy that played Francis was in something. I was like, I recognize your face. And I was like, I recognize your last name from... Oh, no!
Oh, God, it's you!
No! And I just sat there and was like, what? No! And then, of course, immediately you're like, have they posted about this?
Oh,
Do the people know?
What is your stance?
Yeah, I can't. I didn't want to look too far into it, so I
Yeah.
just did a preliminary Instagram scroll and
Has that guy been in anything since Malcolm in the Middle?
probably.
'Cause I feel like I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Well, now he can't release.
Well, yeah, but
Oh,
Yeah, no.
Jesus.
all I knew about him was, not Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah. No, I don't know. You ever have that moment where you're like, holy shit. This actress and this other actress look so similar, like an older and younger version. Guess what?
No, this is like me finding out that Zack Snyder and Scott Snyder. So Zack Snyder, the movie director, and Scott Snyder, the comic writer, are not brothers. I assumed for years that they were related.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. I remember seeing both their names, or seeing, I think it was Scott Snyder's name at 1st, knowing he was in the comic book industry, and was like, is he related to... I'm going to do a quick...
Yeah.
Nope, no relation. Okay, cool.
I just assumed for years that they were brothers, and it wasn't until I was buying some of the issues of his run at Batman, say issues, the volumes, the collections, whatever, that I was like, I wonder, are they? And then I looked it up, and nope.
No.
So that was just a dumb assumption of me.
This is have you guys seen that interview with, I think it's Woody Harrelson and Liam Hemsworth? And the interviewer comes up, this is around the time that Thor came out. And the interviewer's like, congrats on you, Hungry is a big movie. And your brother! Yeah, it's not a small role. And Woody Harrelson just sits there. Oh my god.
Wait!
Oh my god, I totally didn't make the connection.
But they even look alike!
Yeah! The Hemsworths have a very distinct look.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, yeah, sometimes you just don't think.
No.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and like, oh my god.
But
Of course
you're
your
his
brother.
Oh.
Even at the same last name.
God, this is like when I found out Elizabeth Olsen was related to the Olsen twins.
yeah.
When I was a
They look
teenager.
so similar as well.
You see, I didn't catch that they looked similar until it was pointed out, and I was like, oh!
To be fair, I think by the time Elizabeth Olsen would have came across your radar, Mary-Kate and Ashley had been gone.
Yeah,
from,
they were a
public
decade
for a
away
long
from
time.
their fame.
Yeah. So I think it's understandable to not see the resemblance because they just sort of disappeared. For,
Yeah.
a long
But
time.
still, it was mind-blowing at the time. So you're with them.
And she's the younger
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God.
Crazy.
What a talent.
Yeah.
Oh. What else do you...
So I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and don't worry, I'm only using this as a launching point for something else.
Thank you.
And so with FromSoft games specifically, I don't really play them for like the story or anything like that. Some people are gonna hate me for that, but
fuck them.
I just
I'm
like,
sorry to anyone that cares.
I just really like the gameplay. So what I do is I play them, and I usually have something on the side. And so I seized the opportunity. Originally, when I had been playing it, I got about like most of the way through before I went on holiday, and I ended up taking like a 3-week break. And when I came, before that, so when I was playing it then, I was watching Bar Rescue. Which was just a waste of time.
I have some more recommendations if needed.
I liked it, but I would get easily bored because it's the same format over and
Absolutely.
over. So when I came back, I started listening to audiobooks while I was doing it again, because I have a ton of audiobooks I haven't listened to yet. And so I finished the book Melting Sun that I talked about last time when we were talking about Godzilla. I don't know if I recommend it. It has some interesting moments. There are some parts that are just absolutely fucking harrowing. Like when it's talking about the aftermath and talking about... So, for context, in case anyone doesn't know,
Is this the Lucky Dragon book?
This is the book about Fukushima.
Sorry.
And so it deals with all of the history of Japan with energy from its earliest points to, like, you know, nuclear and the aftermath of Fukushima. And so it goes into detail about, like, the one person who has survived the longest after the effects of radiation. It was something like 80 days, maybe not that long. I hate that I'm blanking on it, but it's very, like, harrowing. Like, they're describing it, and it's stomach turning, the description of, like, the state he was in and stuff.
What that does to you.
Yeah, like, they described, like, changing his bandages, and the nurse pulled back the bandage, and his skin
Just peeled
and came with it.
Yeah, no, that.
So it starts interesting by going through Japan's, like, history with sort of like the world stage and then energy, and that's interesting. It's when it gets into, like, the development of nuclear power that it gets a bit
iffy,
lost in the sauce. It becomes a little technical.
Okay.
So it can be unapproachable if you're not really fully understand. And I think it gets too much into, like, the inner workings of reactors and the different types that were being used in different countries, that I'm like, this is not interesting.
Yeah.
This is a technical manual for a nuclear scientist. This is not for a reader like me.
Yeah.
Like, I just want, like, a clear story and timeline of these events that led up to and the aftermath of Fukushima. I'm not looking for a technical breakdown of, like, the reactor that was in whatever nuclear facility during 1977. Like, that.
What? That's
No offense, I don't give a shit.
That's my special interest.
That's my area of expertise.
So I think it just gets too bogged down and stuff like that, that it sort of becomes a bit more of a chore to get through.
Sounds like it sort of just sort of shifts in, like, priorities.
It does, and then you suddenly have this hard shift back to it talking about, like, the survivors and people who suffered the most from radiation exposure and all this, and so it's like technical stuff. I'm gonna fuck you up with some body horror description. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
I think body horror, especially in books, has to be woven throughout very well.
Like, I get that it's like a historical account, so, like, there are gonna be parts where it just kind of jumps out at you, and that's fine. But because another book I've read on a similar subject, Midnight of Chernobyl, which is, like, the founding of Chernobyl, the founding of Pripyat, the building of Chernobyl, the nuclear facility, and obviously the explosion and the aftermath and everything like that, and you get the same sort of thing. You hear the descriptions of the people who suffered from the most direct exposure to the radiation, the thing they went through, like the description of, like, their blood cells, like, spilling open and just, you know, going everywhere, and it's like, it's intense stuff, but it's the way Midnight in Chernobyl is written and conveyed is just a much more fascinating and interesting thing, because it's much more of, like, conveying it as a story.
Yeah.
Sounds more compelling.
It is. It follows the people as characters within the narrative, and so you're jumping around a lot, but like you have a clear understanding of who you're following, what their role is, and everything. You're not talking about the technical breakdown of the reactor itself. Sure, you get a little bit of that because you need to understand that to know what happened and what went wrong and why it blew up. But it's woven into hearing this story of like the people who made this town, made the facility, worked there, lived there, died there, and the effects of that. So that's interesting. Whereas Melting Sun's more of like a technical book halfway through until you get near the end, where suddenly you're confronted with this absolute humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of ends.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked.
Yeah. But there's a potential there of like looking into the why the failure happened, and it does explain that, but you're so far into the technical breakdown that it's like, I get that's about the height of the wall, but you've spent so long explaining to me how this reactor works. I don't care that the flood wall wasn't tall enough.
Yeah.
Like that's the important point, and you're doing everything but focusing on that. So that was a frustrating lesson. And then I finished that, and I listened to The Exorcist again.
Nice.
So that was good. That was a nice little refresher.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fantastic book, start to finish for me. And then I was like, okay, well, what do I listen to next? And I forgot I had Obama's presidential memoir.
What a hard cut.
This is the thing. You look at my Audible library, you'd realize I have no taste in books. I just like learning. I like books and I like learning.
Acquiring knowledge.
Pretty much. And
it's just a hard cut. So I was listening to The Exorcist and then I forgot I had Obama.
no, pretty much, because I'm just scrolling through and I just see his face and I'm like, oh yeah.
It's him.
I bought this when it came out in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, he announced that, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to listen to the story of you being the president.
Does he
becoming
read it?
president. He reads it.
Fuck yeah.
Which is also the biggest selling point of it for me.
Hell yeah.
Because it's a 30-hour audiobook. That thing's fucking massive if you buy it.
Yeah.
You know.
Say what you will about Obama and, like, his policies and stuff, but that man has a voice.
Oh, yeah.
I would listen to him read the
100%.
phone book.
I had been listening to him read that, and then I started reading... I went to bed, and I was reading a chapter of Vampire Hunter D, and the voice in my head had been supplanted by Obama. And I was like, this is weird. This is really weird.
And then D went into the castle. I want that version.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
He just needs to start like doing more audiobooks. Just random audiobooks.
Yeah.
Surprise, bitch, it's Obama.
Like Samuel Jackson.
No, he needs to finish writing the second part of this presidential memoir though first, because he says at the start of the book, this is part 1 of 2 of my presidential memoirs, and I was like, I forgot about that. Hold on, is it out yet? No, part 2 is not out yet.
One for each term. Let's go.
I think that's genuinely what it is. I think this one ends at the end of his first term. So like, where I'm at now is the final kind of days leading up to the election. Where he wins. And it's incredible to listen to that being told from his perspective, because of just how out of nowhere fast it all became a thing, and then how it snowballed.
Yeah.
Because like, sure, he'd been a senator and stuff like that, but like, he just sort of went, oh, I might run for president.
Yeah.
Maybe not this cycle. And then suddenly it was like everyone was going, no, if you're thinking about doing it, you need to do it now. If you don't do it, you won't do it. And he was like, fuck it, I guess I'm running for president.
Sure.
And then he ran for president, and then he got and when you think the fact he got elected, it's like, what the fuck?
It's actually mad, because I actually looked about, because election season at the time of recording for America, I there was a part of me that like wants to look back on, like, just like, you know, I get into a feeling of not too much into like a politics, because that drives you insane.
Yeah.
But like just enough to like sort of skim through elections past and stuff, and like I looked through like just a very brief like timeline of like Obama like running for president and then becoming president, and like it is insane, because he was not the forerunner in the Dems for like up until the very last few months.
Yeah.
Because it was almost a surefire thing that it was going to be Hillary.
Yep.
In
And he pissed Hillary off so much in those early days. And it did not
I can
matter what he
imagine.
tried to do or what he tried to say or how he said it. Like, she was just pissed.
Yeah, because she expected that nomination.
I mean, I feel like she has just as a little girl, her whole goal was be the first female president. And, you know, she's slowly aging
Yep.
to a point where, like, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's so many chances. Like, becoming first lady is like the closest she probably could have gone at that time in her mind. But then like 2008 comes around, she's like,
I can do this.
it's finally happening that it's like
Yeah.
possible. She's the front runner of the nomination. She's just about to grab it, and then Obama comes
Yup.
in.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, because no one can say she didn't fucking try.
No, that's
she,
it.
ugh.
she was so close.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing is, had she got the nomination, I wonder if
Would she have won in 2012?
2008.
2008.
Well, no, I'm thinking like if she had won, like would she have?
Oh
gotten
no,
re-elected?
I more mean would she have won in 2008?
Ah.
Because sure, there was a shift from like because this was during like the height of like Iraq and the war on terror, and people's people's opinion on that was starting to shift, and they were really done with the Bush government and stuff like that. Hillary's name carried a legacy and a story.
Yeah, because when she was first lady, everyone made the joke that she was actually running the country.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know.
There was baggage.
Yeah.
And especially with all the Bill Clinton stuff
Yeah.
that happened, like I just don't.
It's what,
No.
to be honest, it's part of what killed her in 2016. Even when she
Yeah.
won the popular vote, like it was like 2 decades of baggage at that point, sort of all culminated in like that her campaign, which is
Yep.
why she wasn't really as popular as she could have been.
There is actually a book that I want to get and read. Is it Shattered Glass or Shattered Ceiling, something like that? And it's a book about Hillary's 2016 campaign and why it failed. And I want to get that. That seems quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think it's told from like people on the inside of the campaign, so it's
Oh,
quite
yeah.
it would be quite an interesting perspective
Yeah,
of that.
I'd want to see that.
But yeah, that's interesting. I'm now just having to try and find how the fuck I'm going to listen to the other 20 hours because I'm done with Elden Ring. I've done everything. I've got all the achievements. I've nothing else to do. I've played the DLC.
Power Wash Simulator.
I've already played like 200 hours. Of
Yeah,
Power
we're
Wash
past
Simulator.
that era for him.
Truck Simulator, Truck Driver
I guess I could, but it's I've already played not as much as of Truck Simulator, but enough to the point where like if I start playing it again, I'm gonna start feeling like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I get that's why because I play Truck Simulator like in very sort of sporadically these days, but like whenever I do, it's a lot of it is because I'm having a day where I just want to just not do anything taxing, but I also want to just have my like hands moving or like playing something. So I'll have like a video up or like a sort of streaming series up, like either like Hololive or like Some Call Me Joy or whatever, and I'll just play like Euro Truck while listening to that.
Euro Truck isn't the game that I think I could listen to an audiobook with. I think it's very much like a YouTube on the side thing, which is what I used to do when I played it the most. So yeah, now I'm in that limbo of like finding a video game that's gonna let me enjoy what I'm playing, but also have enough attention to listen to a book.
So it can't be any like story-driven games like Cyberpunk.
No, I'm very much locked in with Cyberpunk if I'm playing it.
Which you should be.
Which I should be, yes.
Because
Very good.
it deserves it, I'd say.
Yeah, which I am replaying. I've just started replaying Cyberpunk since I bought the DLC when it launched. And
We both did.
Yeah, and I'm only now getting around to replaying the base game because obviously the 2.0 update changes a whole bunch of stuff, so I want to experience that and get used to it before I go into the DLC.
I'd say it feels a lot more natural just saying like I don't know how much you played like at this point.
Not a huge amount, like maybe like 6 hours. I'm only at the start of Act 2.
Okay.
After you like meet Johnny really for the first time, get the relic. I've done a couple of side quests after that. I've saved my neighbor. Anyone who's played it will know the side quest I'm talking about.
You did good.
I did good. That was a fucking mindfuck to remember how to complete that correctly.
There are so many Cyberpunk quests that like I sort of forget when it starts, and then like once I take like a few steps in, it's like, oh, it's this one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's this one. I can't remember which dialogue options to choose so that he doesn't kill himself.
Do your best, and if it feels like you did it wrong,
I reloaded like 4 times because you need to do it in a specific way where you get like an optional objective added to your quest list. And then go and do that, and then come back. And if you don't get that optional objective, you know you fucked up because he's gonna kill himself.
And no one wants that.
No one wants that. Oh. And then I paid off my debts to Victor.
Yeah.
Because I sold a bunch of guns and I was like, I have 21 grand. What the fuck?
I love that quest. Just go on to this. I love that quest specifically because you don't have to do it at any point in the game. You can go through the whole game and you get no consequences for not paying him back. You just do it because he's a bro.
Yeah. I don't want to keep him hanging. So
exactly.
And then I went and got my reward from Wakako, and then that was it. That's all I've done.
All right,
I haven't done a huge amount in this playthrough yet. I'm dying to get back to it.
Yeah. I am so excited for when you get to Phantom Blade. There's so much I want to talk about, man. You have no idea.
Just to stick on Cyberpunk real quick, not to get too lost in the weeds, but I want to talk a little bit from the technical perspective because I played this originally in PS5. Now, you might not know, Melina, Cyberpunk originally had a really disastrous launch.
I think you guys mentioned
it was a mess. It came out on the PS4 and the Xbox One as well when it really was not in a fit state. Those consoles could not really handle it whatsoever. So they could only pretty much run on the PS5, but there wasn't a native PS5 version. It was just running on the PS4 version. So it was limited in what it was capable of. Sure, it looked and ran better, but it was still a last-gen game. Eventually it gets a PS5 native version with some of the new features, so I played that one because it was stable, it looked good, it played well. And then I get a new PC, very beefy, top of the line. Of course I rebuy Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Because Cyberpunk on PC...
That's a humble brag right there.
Yes. is basically like a testing ground for all of the new PC gaming features.
It is. It's the crisis of the generation.
Pretty much, yeah.
You're not gonna get that.
Back in the day, Crysis was like a litmus test for your PC and whether it could run
Nothing
anything.
could run it unless like you were the highest. Like
nice.
Even within like the 6 years after it came out, like top of the line PCs still couldn't run it at max settings.
Crysis came out in 2007.
It was that far ahead of its time. But basically they've been slowly adding in new features, and a lot of them are to do with like the one ethical use of AI that I know of, and that is NVIDIA and AMD, but AMD are quite far behind, using it for what's known as DLSS, which is Deep Learning Super Sampling, which is the use of AI for a couple of different techniques. So the main one that it gets its title from, DLSS, is specifically an upscaling technology, which means that you can run the game at a lower resolution, meaning it's less intensive on your system, but being upscaled to the native resolution of your display, so you're still getting the same image quality. That's the theory. You can do it in a way where it doesn't look as good, but you're getting the better performance. But if you have a good enough PC, you can get the better performance without the cost to image quality, and that's what I'm doing. And then there's frame generation, where it uses AI to basically bump up the amount of frames that you get in games. So you wouldn't get the 15 frames that you get in Lethal Company. You would maybe get 30, which is a playable state.
Yeah.
I like my 50 frames.
You don't know any better.
No. Exactly.
So I'm using frame gen to do a little bit of use the highest settings where my PC can't quite perform, but I can use frame gen to get it up to performance. But there's a new tech as well that was recently added in with the 2.0 update, I believe, to go along with ray tracing, which is a new form of lighting. Just looks more realistic, basically. And there was another update that done path tracing, which is even more realistic, but it's so system intensive my PC just can't. But along with that originally came an update to DLSS that was called Ray Reconstruction, And so part of ray tracing is better reflections. However, it goes through such like a process that by the time you see the reflection, even though it's real time, it's kind of iffy looking.
Yeah. The one like game that I always think of for ray tracing is like Spider-Man on like PS5.
Yeah,
and
the
that
reflections look a bit.
Like I appreciate that they're there.
Yeah,
And I usually leave it on for like the performance ray tracing one, but like it's not top quality.
no, and they don't look much better on PC, and I'm really hoping reconstruction gets added to the PC versions, but we'll see what happens. But basically, it eventually got decoupled with the path tracing because you had to use path tracing to use it, but whatever. No, you don't. And basically what it does is it does the same process of getting the real-time reflections, but it does an extra step where it basically just cleans it all up and it looks exactly like what you see reflected. So you're seeing a true reflection and it looks incredibly crisp, incredibly clear, and it's real-time updated as you move. And it just adds so much like immersion to the world.
Yeah.
It's just an incredible piece of tech. It's really great to be able to play the game and like see those things happen, like, and changes and updates get added in real time, and get to mess around with those features a little bit.
Especially in a game like Cyberpunk that like puts a lot of effort into getting you immersed in its world. Like I could genuinely get lost in Cyberpunk for like hours at a time.
I
It's
love
just
it.
that fun.
Anyway, I won't
Seriously,
talk
possibly game of the generation. for me.
100%. Yeah.
And that's such a redemption from that horrible launch.
Yep. That's enough about Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Anyone else wanna floor?
I've had the floor.
Okay. Sean?
Do I really want to like complete?
30 seconds in the clock.
I like Mass Effect. Mass Effect is a fun game. I was like, do you really want me to just go from Cyberpunk to Mass Effect?
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am playing my second playthrough of Mass Effect. The first time I played it was about a year and a half ago at this point. Very fun time. I'd say out of video game trilogies, it's possibly one of the better ones I've ever played, which is saying quite a bit. It very much feels like a full-on interactive movie like series for me. And like the thing about Mass Effect is it's a sci-fi like series, but like the whole selling point was that you make choices in games that can have bleed-on effects to the later games. And like the choices you make are supposed to anyway.
Yes.
Make huge like event altering decisions like later on that you can build upon and like help. And like most of the time it does work. Like there are characters in like Mass Effect 1 that you can like spare or like have die or whatever that like will reappear if they live. They reappear in the second and third games and have like huge implications on like whether you can get a certain storyline that's been building up to end in a peaceful or violent manner. To go full on into the lore, I'm thinking of like the Krogan sort of storyline where like one of your alien companions for like a race called the Krogan can die in the first Mass Effect, and like usually you can spare him and it's pretty easy to do, but if he dies it makes it very difficult in later games for any storyline following the Krogans to end in a ideal situation, because usually they'll either want to, because in the last game you're supposed to like make a decision on whether you're supposed to cure this disease that they all have that makes their fertility abysmal, and like the concern is that if you do that they're easy to like repopulate. Like they have thousands of like kids like within a year. So the fear is that like if they spread long enough they're going to like form an empire that will probably take over the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
So, but the moral choice is, so do you cure their sterilization or do you not? And the thing is, if you have the Krogan like companion that you have in the first game alive, he will be able to keep the Krogan peaceful. So even if you cure, it's called the genophage. Like they're still going to be peaceful and they're going to like, you know, treat the other like the rest of the galaxy with like in like a helpful manner. Yeah. But if you don't do that, you're very likely going to leave the galaxy in a really difficult position after this other galaxy-ending conflict that you're a part of, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I kept Rex alive though, so we're good.
Yeah.
We're all good. But it's stuff like that, and I love Mass Effect to death, but like The thing about Mass Effect is it's sort of a bittersweet thing because Mass Effect 3 has its problems.
Yeah, one big one.
Yeah. So how do I'm trying to like explain this in a way that's sort of general enough that I don't go into like hour-long.
They fucked up the ending.
Yeah, they fucked up the endings. The thing about the Mass Effect 3's ending is that even like originally, all of your choices mean fuck all.
Aww.
Because you get 3 big choices at the end of the game, and originally as Mass Effect 3 was released, they all lead to the exact same cutscene with a different color filter.
Yep.
All the exact same.
That is so fucked.
It is. It
And
caused
lazy.
such a fucking
Oh,
backlash
yeah.
like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Understandably so.
To the point where like people were like forwarding them, like suing them basically, suing like BioWare, the developers of the game, for false advertising. That's how bad it got. And there were like agencies that were like, yeah, this is kind of a case that we can take to. Eventually it went to, no, this is fine. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't really do that. But like it got that bad that they had to rush out a free DLC called the Extended Cut just to flesh out that, yeah, the endings actually have differences. And you can argue on how well they did on that. It's
Not great.
I'd still say they're lackluster.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is why on this playthrough, now that I'm finally playing on PC, I've added so many mods. Including one that just completely changes the ending to one that's just, you know, a nice, happy ending where... Spoiler alert for the original ending, Shepard usually dies.
Yes.
Who's the main character.
Oh no, not Shepard.
Your player character.
Your player character, Shepard.
The person who you've probably spent like 100 hours getting attached to across 3 games.
Yeah, and you spent so much time building up as like a specific character. Mm-hmm. They usually die, unless like you want secret ending that's not going to really be followed up with anyway. Depending on where Mass Effect 5 goes.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. But I installed a mod that basically makes it so Shepard basically fixes the ending. Well, fixes the ending where it basically destroys the threat that you're fighting against, has Shepard live at the end, and then moves one of the DLCs as like a nice little epilogue thing at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. But I don't want to go into too much detail because there's so much I could talk about, and I don't have the time. But that's mainly what's keeping up my time right now, just Mass Effect.
Yeah.
There have been times, even like when we were watching movies just this week, where like I'd watch the last movie like at night and then like sneak in an extra session of Mass Effect for like an hour.
Yeah, I did see yesterday after you watched Sing a Bit of Harmony.
Yeah.
I went and had dinner and I opened my phone and I checked Discord and I see he's on Mass Effect. I get dinner, which took far longer than I expected to come. Sit down, eat it, watch Vampire Hunter D. He's still playing Mass Effect. Now like 3 hours have gone by. Then he watches Vampire Hunter D, and then I see him on Mass Effect again.
To be fair.
And I'm in bed fucking doing research for the Reddit episode.
You want to know what the funniest thing about that entire thing is? Most of that playtime was just in the Citadel.
Jesus Christ.
It was just in one area.
My God.
There's so many fucking side quests in that one area, I swear to God. Anyway, that's mainly what's been keeping up my time.
Nice.
Wow.
I don't think I've got anything else. Unless you want to hear me rant about some anime I've watched recently that I did not like.
I'm good.
Melina's had a limit.
Yeah, no, this is, come on.
I hate asking, but where are we at on the time?
If we take the 20 minutes off, an hour, but it's only like 5 to 3, so we're kind of finishing early.
Yeah.
So if we want to wrap up now, we can.
Do you want to? I've got nothing else to really talk about unless there is a show I am watching like quite right now. I'm like about a good way the way through Veep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How is that?
It's good.
Oh.
I recommend it.
Nice.
Do you know what it's like about?
Yeah,
It's Vice President.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Vice President played by
It's the girl from the woman from Seinfeld. No, I'm thinking of a different show.
No.
I'm thinking of am I thinking of what?
The only thing she's Madam Hydra in like the MCU stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's
now.
That lady.
that's her from Seinfeld, Sarah Louise Dreyfus.
I have no idea what her name is.
I've watched so much Veep, but I don't know like the actress's name. I just know her as the character name is Selena Meyer.
Oh, nice.
But it's a really good show. I had the benefit of because I'm watching it like having watched like the British focused shows that like the creator of the show has done, which is like The Thick of It and In the Loop, which was like a movie for The Thick of It basically. I also recommend those. In the Loop is kind of it sort of ends just suddenly. Like, it's more of a TV special than an actual movie. But Veep is really good, and the plot lines are going in directions I did not expect. And they're surprisingly true to current events that have happened. That's all I'll say.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I was
Yes.
close. I said Sarah
close.
Louise.
Yeah.
But...
Very fun show. It is amazing to see how toxic politics can be.
What? No way!
Yeah, but it's really entertaining.
Aw.
It's just like a strength that happened in like the thick of it and stuff. Like you really see the inner workings of like how
Yeah.
political parties and like government facilities run themselves, and it is horrible, but it is amazing to witness.
The only thing I actually know about the show is that one of my favourite gifs is from it.
Oh yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
That happened surprisingly early as well.
Really?
So,
Wow.
yeah, that's like season 2
Wow.
at the latest.
How many seasons are there?
Like 7.
Jesus.
Are they all like 44-minute episodes?
Yeah, like 10 episodes. It's a HBO show.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. As soon as I hear HBO, I'm like, oh, we're safe. It's
It's
not
not-
going to be
yeah.
22 episodes a
Yeah,
season.
exactly. You're safe. It's 10 episodes a season, 44 minutes. We're good.
American TV, man.
HBO is a good stamp of approval.
Yes.
I am
So you know
so
you're...
close to finishing Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
Why?
You're dragging this into the podcast.
I committed to the bit. No, I
Has
won't
Sheldon
talk
got a
much
Nobel
about
Prize yet?
No, that's the whole crux of the season.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, we'll find out at the end of the season, which is only a few episodes left.
My God.
Mark Hamill showed up.
Yeah.
I remember that was a thing that happened.
He married Sheldon and
yeah,
Amy.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much I know about Big Bang Theory, not by choice.
No,
Never
yeah.
by choice.
James Earl Jones shows up as well, right?
Yeah, and he
Yes.
meets Carrie Fisher
Yeah.
for the first
Yeah.
time on set.
Really?
Yeah, they never met in person beyond that.
Oh,
That was the first time they met.
That's so nice.
I know. And it's hilarious given what happens in that episode. He's such a
I
dick
just-
to her.
I just love Will Wheaton as a character.
Will Wheaton.
As a character.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the last episode I watched was him having a D&D group with William Shatner, Joe Manganiello,
Jesus Christ.
and some NBA player.
The fucking guest stars on this show are like half the
How
reason
did
I'm
they
like semi-interested.
Oh.
Money.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say more about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Because next week we have an episode
No.
dedicated just to
No.
me.
No.
She's talking about Smosh. She's talking about Smosh. She's talking about Smosh.
We'll see. Well,
Well, that's basically what's been consuming
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
in this moment of
what
time.
we have consumed and what has consumed us.
Yes.
I am trapped in Mass Effect.
I've also read Vampire Hunter D, but you'll hear me talk about that during the actual
Yeah,
Vampire
yeah.
Hunter D episode, so it's not worth bringing up now. But I did plan to keep reading that. I wanted to start the next one last night, but I was like, I'm too tired. I'm going to bed.
Fair.
Smart,
So,
smart
yeah.
choice.
Nah, now I'm going to go home and play Cyberpunk.
I'm gonna go home and play
Mass Effect.
Minor Affect.
Wow.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
I'm probably doing puzzles.
Yeah, of course you are. You're like an 8-year-old woman.
Old.
Okay.
Just get yourself like a Nintendo Switch or something.
It doesn't
Join
compare.
the youth in a console that's on the way out.
Yeah, but like...
Nothing compares to like doing something just with your hands.
Yeah, video games is that.
No,
Yeah.
but it's different.
I don't think
No.
you've got like the same like 2 decades of built
Yeah.
up like...
Yeah, we're integrated.
Yeah. I don't need to think about how I move my hands, but I know what I'm doing, and
You-
it's very
you-
satisfying.
Yeah.
You do know how I play Minecraft, right?
Nah.
I've told
Oh,
you
you've
guys.
told me
With
your
the arrow
hand
keys?
is in like the...
I use my left thumb
For shift.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
that's
like
it.
are full on gonna give yourself carpal tunnel the way you play Minecraft.
Well, how often do I play it?
Girl, use
Like
your
every
pinky.
week with us.
No.
Oh no,
it's been
we've been
ages.
playing. Please don't tell me your shift like that in Lethal Company,
I don't know, probably.
because it's the same hand formation that you would use for any game that uses WASD, and you should be using your pinky
Please
for control and
just use your
shift.
pinky.
I don't know, actually. I'll pay attention next time.
Let us know.
Yeah, and the W is whichever finger that.
No, W is always your middle finger.
There's a setup.
No, I think it's usually the pointer.
And A and D is your ring, and then pointer, and you move your ring. You move your middle down to S if you need to go backwards.
It's so easy.
And your thumb is always on space for jump if a game has jump, like Minecraft.
That's the right thumb.
So,
no, wait, that's my mouse.
Yeah, you got
your
mouse.
mouse.
I don't know. You're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know how I do
You're
it.
probably like full on like using your pointer finger.
You look
and,
like one of the
twisting
thumpers.
The
your-
thing is, I have long fingers, so maybe I just can. Maybe.
Melina, your hands are like
Your
the same
fingers are not
size
that
as
long.
mine. No offense.
Your fingers are not that long.
You'd think so.
Yeah, I know so. I'm looking at them.
You have suitable hands to do WSD normally.
I disagree. But here we go.
End the fucking
Oh
episode.
my god.
Farewell.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Anime Lane. We'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
I'm in
Bye.
pain.